The Canary in the Coal Mine: How Black Women Entrepreneurs Predict America's Economic Future. Good morning, everyone. Today, I want to share some extraordinary insights from my recent interview with Crystal Carroll, a revolutionary thought leader whose work has fundamentally transformed our understanding of entrepreneurship, innovation, and economic resilience. Crystal doesn't just study business trends. She illuminates the invisible patterns that determine who thrives and who merely survives in our economy. Her groundbreaking research has given voice to those who have historically been silenced, yet consistently lead with remarkable ingenuity. Crystal's work isn't just changing how we understand business, it's reshaping how we build a more equitable future for all entrepreneurs. I want to begin with a profoundly counterintuitive idea that Crystal shared, one that might completely upend how you think about economic forecasting. We've been trained to look to Wall Street analysts, economic forecasters, and industry titans to predict where markets are heading. But what if I told you that the true economic prophets of our time aren't wearing expensive suits in Manhattan boardrooms? What if I told you that Black women's experiences in the workforce are actually early indicators, powerful predictors of larger economic shifts that will eventually affect everyone? That they serve as the proverbial canary in the coal mine for our entire economic system? Let that sink in for a moment. The very group that has been historically marginalized, overlooked, and underestimated might actually hold the key to understanding our economic future. While conventional wisdom suggests economic downturns hit all groups equally, the data tells a dramatically different story. Black women's unemployment rates consistently rise before other demographics when trouble is brewing. This isn't coincidental or random. It reveals deeper systemic inequities and provides critical warning signs that broader instability is coming. This reality fundamentally challenges the narrative that Black women are merely passive victims of economic forces. Instead, it positions them at the forefront of both risk and resilience. Economic profits whose experiences we ignore at our collective peril. But this isn't just about economic indicators and abstract statistics. It's about innovation, leadership, and creating entirely new paradigms for success against seemingly insurmountable odds. Consider Morgan DeBaun, founder of Blavity Inc. Before launching her company, DeBaun looked around the media landscape and saw a glaring absence. Mainstream outlets weren't authentically capturing the experiences, voices, and perspectives of young Black Americans. Rather than simply lamenting this problem, she created a solution. From day one, Blavity faced tremendous obstacles, underrepresentation in mainstream media spaces, and significant difficulties securing initial funding as a minority owned startup. These weren't just DeBon's personal obstacles, they reflected the systemic barriers that countless Black entrepreneurs encounter daily. But here's where the story becomes truly remarkable. DeBon didn't follow the traditional media playbook. She couldn't afford to. Instead, she leveraged digital platforms for growth, built community driven content strategies, and targeted culturally relevant topics that major outlets were completely missing. The result? Blavity exploded into one of America's fastest growing private companies, secured millions in venture capital funding, and now reaches millions monthly with original content. DeBon was named to Forbes 30 Under 30, expanded into groundbreaking events with Afrotech, and created multiple successful brands under Blavity Inc. But perhaps most importantly, she set entirely new standards for inclusive storytelling online, and inspired countless other minority founders with a scalable model that worked. Or consider Jewel Burke Solomon, founder of PartPick. Solomon developed revolutionary visual recognition software to streamline part identification for hardware retailers like Amazon. But her journey wasn't remotely straightforward. She faced relentless skepticism from investors due to bias against both her gender and race. She had severely limited access to traditional tech networks and resources that many founders take completely for granted. These weren't personal challenges. They were systemic barriers that disproportionately affect Black women entrepreneurs across the entire innovation ecosystem. Solomon's response was both strategic and community oriented. She built powerful alliances within Atlanta's startup ecosystem and participated in pitch competitions tailored toward underrepresented founders. This approach led to successfully raising over $2 million in seed funding before being acquired by Amazon, a rare and remarkable feat among startups led by women of color at the time. Her inspiration came from witnessing inefficiencies while working at McMaster Car Industrial Supply Company as one of few young Black employees there. She saw a problem, envisioned a solution, and created technology that ultimately became valuable enough for one of the world's largest companies to acquire. Salmon's acquisition marked the first major acquisition of its kind, involving an Atlanta based Black female founder led tech firm in 2016. It paved the way for more venture capital attention toward diverse founders nationwide. Then there's B. Dixon, founder of the Honey Pot Company. Dixon created plant based feminine care products systematically overlooked by mainstream brands. Like our other entrepreneurs, she faced significant challenges, struggling with securing shelf space due largely to industry gatekeeping and a profound lack of diversity among retail buyers. Dixon's approach was multifaceted. She pursued direct to consumer channels via e commerce and social media marketing while partnering strategically with Target stores, which championed supplier diversity initiatives. The outcome? The Honey Pot became one of Target's top selling feminine hygiene brands and expanded nationally across major retailers. Dixon's story is particularly powerful because she created her first product out of necessity when struggling personally with health issues. She saw an opportunity where the market completely failed Black consumers. Her company achieved nationwide retail expansion and significant brand loyalty within multicultural consumer segments. Perhaps most importantly, she set a precedent encouraging big box retailers to invest in minority founded wellness products. These three stories aren't just inspiring success narratives, they're examples of how Black women entrepreneurs have consistently identified market gaps, created innovative solutions, and built successful businesses despite systemic barriers. They've done this not by following established playbooks, but by writing entirely new ones. As Crystal emphasized in our interview, there are three key insights we should all take away from these examples. First, Black women often experience economic shifts first, making their stories crucial for understanding and anticipating broader trends in our communities and workplaces. When we pay attention to the challenges and opportunities they identify, we gain early insight into emerging market needs and economic patterns that will eventually affect everyone. Second, female led businesses, especially those started by Black women, drive innovation and outperform many male led counterparts thanks to diverse leadership styles and adaptability. This isn't just about representation, it's about results. Companies with diverse leadership consistently demonstrate stronger performance across multiple metrics. Third, while systemic barriers persist, increased visibility, community support, and access to digital tools have allowed more Black women entrepreneurs to thrive despite these obstacles. The digital economy has created new pathways to success that bypass some traditional gatekeepers. Now, I want to be absolutely clear about something. Recognizing these patterns isn't about placing additional burdens on Black women to be economic prophets or innovation leaders. It's about acknowledging the unique insights that come from their position and experience and using that recognition to create more equitable systems that benefit everyone. When we look at these entrepreneurs, we see a common thread. They didn't wait for permission or perfect conditions. They identified problems, created solutions, built communities, and persevered despite systemic challenges. They transformed obstacles into opportunities, not just for themselves, but for entire communities. This perspective fundamentally challenges us to reconsider how we think about innovation, economic forecasting, and business leadership. It suggests that those at the margins often have the clearest view of the whole system and the most incentive to improve it. As Crystal Carroll so eloquently put it during our interview, Black women entrepreneurs aren't just building businesses, they're creating blueprints for a more inclusive and resilient economy. This brings me to a profound truth that emerged from our conversation. The very qualities that have allowed Black women to survive and thrive despite systemic barriers: resourcefulness, community building, identifying unmet needs, creative problem solving, are precisely the qualities that make for successful entrepreneurship in today's rapidly changing economy. In a world where disruption is constant and adaptation is essential, those who have always had to navigate changing and challenging circumstances have developed skills that are increasingly valuable. They've been practicing the future of work all along. I want to return to that powerful metaphor Crystal shared: the canary in the coal mine. Historically, miners brought canaries into coal mines because these birds were more sensitive to toxic gases than humans. When the canary showed signs of distress, it warned miners of danger before it became deadly for everyone. In our economic mind, Black women entrepreneurs often feel the effects of systemic problems first, but they also pioneer the solutions that can benefit us all. Their challenges aren't just personal struggles, they're early warning system for broader economic issues. Their innovations aren't just individual successes, they're blueprints for a more resilient and inclusive economy. So here's my challenge to you today: stop seeing Black women entrepreneurs as exceptional outliers who succeeded despite the odds. Start seeing them as economic prophets whose experiences can guide us all toward a more innovative and equitable future. Invest in their businesses, amplify their voices, remove the systemic barriers they face. Because when we create systems where the canaries can not just survive but thrive, we create an economy that works better for everyone. The future of our economy isn't being written in economic textbooks or corporate boardrooms. It's being written right now by those who have always had to innovate to survive. The question isn't whether we'll listen to these economic prophets. The question is whether we'll listen soon enough to benefit from their insights before a crisis strikes, and whether we'll create systems that transform their resilience into resources for everyone. Thank you.